What is up, bros and broettes? I am Inkslasher, and today we've got some Infinite Warfare news to look at. Today, we are going to be looking at the 12 new weapons implemented in the game. Also, there's 18 new cosmetics and 5 new epic taunts. Now, I'm not so much interested in the cosmetics and epic taunts. I want to look at the weapons today and really break them down to see what they are. Also, on top of that, there is one camo that we're going to look at that's absolutely so cool that I really want to get. We'll talk about that as well. But before we get into talking about these weapons, I just wanted to say I do think that this is a little bit ridiculous that they're adding more weapons before they even add goddamn leaderboards into the game. There still is no leaderboards in Infinite Warfare, yet they're already implementing new weapons. This really shows where Infinity Ward's priorities are. It's convincing people to buy their supply drops and not finishing their game that they released over a month ago. And I think this is a little bit ridiculous. I really think they should have got the leaderboards out there, got everything working perfectly, and then released other weapons later. I think that's a little bit ridiculous, but it is what it is, and we're going to talk about the weapons today. So aside from the complaining about that, they did do one good thing with these weapons. I assumed that when they added new weapons, they were going to be quartermaster weapons, which are weapons you can only get through supply drops. However, that's actually not the case. Every single one of the weapons that they added in of these 12 weapons, you're actually able to purchase with salvage, which is really, really good. Now, we will be talking about salvage in a future video because it's kind of rigged, and we'll talk about that in a future video. However, you are able to buy these weapons with salvage. So let's go through and look at all the stats on these different weapons. Alright, so starting off with assault rifles. The first one we got here is the R3K Spearhead, and the two stats that this one got is stacked, which is reduced time between bursts. This is amazing. This is basically a built-in rapid fire attachment. This is what rapid fire did to the burst fire weapons in Black Ops 3, so that's a very, very good perk. And then also flak, which does more damage to score streaks. I don't think that's too useful in multiplayer, but it might do more damage to the boss and zombies. I'm not 100% sure about that, but it might. The next one we've got here is the Type 2 Atomic. This one has the nuclear perk, which if you get 25 player kills, you get the nuke or deatomizer. And then Lowrider. This is the one that's interesting. Reduced hip fire spread while sliding. This is good for this weapon because if you're using it akimboed, you can only fire from the hip. So this is going to improve that hip spread while you're sliding. It's going to kind of change up your playstyle, which I really do like to see. Now, I think the important point to look at here is that by looking at this and the Type 2 getting a nuclear variant, it's pretty easy to assume that throughout this game's life cycle, eventually every single weapon will have a nuclear variant. It's just a matter of time before they put them into the game. The one thing that I found interesting about the variants that they put out with this update is that there was no SMG variants added. I don't know why. I don't know if they find them overpowered and they're going to put less SMGs in, but all I know is they didn't add any in this update. Next up in the LMG department, we have a new version of the Mauler called the Grizzly. This one has two perks. The first is On Point, which speeds up aiming down sights and reduces your hip fire accuracy. This kind of goes against how this weapon was kind of presented, which is a little bit odd. And then we got the Creeper, which increases movement speed while crouched. And we'll see this a couple times throughout the variants added in, and I don't know whether this perk is good or not, but what I will say is I think there is definitely better variants than this one. Next up, we've got another version of the Titan. This one's called Vile, and again, we see the same perk. Creeper, increase movement speed while crouched. And again, I don't think this is that great of a variant. I definitely think there's better ones for the Titan, but it's in there nonetheless. Next up, we've got two new snipers, and these are by far the most interesting weapons I find out of all of them that have been added in. So the first one is the KBS Longbow Affliction. Now, this one has two perks. It is Glacial, which is damage temporarily slows targets movement speed, which is interesting because most of the time with the KBS Longbow, you're going to be getting a one bullet kill anyway, which is pretty pointless. And then Lights Out, increased weapon melee speed. That is a really weird perk. I don't think we've ever seen that before, and most of the time in this game, it's a two-hit melee unless you're behind them. So again, I'm not really sure what the point of that perk is. This next weapon, though, is I think by far the most interesting and possibly the best weapon that they added in with this patch. It's the EBR-800 Bomber. Now, the two perks are Triad, which is a charged 3-shot sniper rifle burst. So basically, what we've seen in Black Ops 3, the P06 do, basically the exact same thing. That's to charge up, and then when it charges, it can fire 3 bullets at a time, dealing a shit ton of damage. And then also Presence of Mind, which I think even more powerful than Triad, because it says infinite hold breath duration. What this means is that there will be no idle sway with this weapon as long as you are holding your breath, which you can do unlimitedly. It never runs out, which is so so powerful. So I think this is going to be a very good weapon. I can't wait to get my hands on it and try it out. Moving on to the shotguns, we've got 3 new shotguns and 3 new handguns to look at. The first of which is the Banshee Slither. And we've seen this perk before. It's called Lowrider, and again, it reduces hip spread while sliding. We saw this one on the Type 2 variant that they added in, and now we can see it on this weapon. Again, I think it'll work pretty good on a shotgun, but I'll have to get my hands on it to try it out to see exactly how good that perk works. This next variant is the DCM-8 Epitaph, and this one I think is going to be a force to be reckoned with. The reason being is because both perks actually help each other. The first one is Focus Fire, which hip fire spread reduced with each shot. So the more you fire the weapon, the smaller that hip spread gets. Also Stability, reduced recoil. So this weapon is going to be incredibly easy to aim. How this works into the game, is it going to be overpowered? I don't know. It sounds really strong to me, so we'll just have to wait and see. The next variant here is the RAK-9 Volatile, and this is a variant that I actually don't think is very good. The first perk we got is Roll the Dice, and it's gain 1 random attachment when you spawn. We've seen this before on other weapons. I just don't think it's that great of a perk. Sometimes it can actually be a deficit. For example, on a shotgun, if you get a suppressor, that's a pretty bad thing in this game. Also, we've got Creeper. Creeper is the perk we saw before on a couple other weapons. It says increases movement speed while crouched. So again, I don't know how good that perk will be. I don't know how useful. Like I said, I don't crouch very often. That's all we've got for the shotguns, though. Moving on to the handguns, the first one we got is the EMC Heavy Weight, and this has a perk we've seen before. Lights Out, increases weapon melee speed. I think this is a little bit better with a pistol than a sniper rifle, but I mean, I don't think it's that useful of a perk all in all, so maybe use a different variant than this one. Moving forward, we got the Oni Amped, and this one actually has 2 perks we've seen before. The first one, On Point. This one speeds up aiming down sights and reduces hip fire accuracy, and Flak increases damage to score streaks. So again, I don't know if these are any good in zombies, but as far as multiplayer goes, this is another variant I don't think is very fantastic. The final weapon we have to look at today is the Hailstorm Thunder, and I can't tell if this weapon will be good or not. The 2 perks it has is Whirlwind, fast cycling auto burst that increases recoil, which what this means is that you can hold down the fire button and it will actually cycle through bursts, which means it's kind of automatic, and the bursts are a little bit closer together. So like built-in rapid fire with being able to hold down the trigger instead of having to press the trigger for every burst. Also Focus, which is reduced idle sway. So all in all, this is one I don't know if it'll be very useful. I don't use pistols very often in multiplayer, but it's certainly an interesting variant of the weapon. So the one camo that I actually want to talk about is called Jam, and this is one of the coolest camos that I've ever seen. Basically, it starts off as a white camo, and the more kills you get in a life, blood splatters onto it, and by the end of it, you could have a totally red covered weapon. Now, the problem I have with this goddamn camo is that they said that it's called Jam because it's not blood splatter, it's jam splatter. That's such bullshit. Like, your game is rated M for mature. It's a mature game. You're allowed to have blood splatter. It does not have to be fucking raspberry jam smothered all over my gun. It's not a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. It's a goddamn gun. So, just Call of Duty. Stop being all politically correct. It's blood splatter on the gun. Just call it the blood splatter camo. But guys, that's all I got for you today. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, it would be fantastic if you could hit that like button. I upload new Call of Duty videos every single day of the week, and if that's something you're interested in, subscribing to the channel may be for you. But thank you guys so much for watching. My Twitch, Twitter, and Let's Play channel are down in the description. On my Let's Play channel, I just started a Dead Rising 4 Let's Play yesterday on that channel. That channel is down on the description, or you can click it on the end screen. But yes, there's going to be Dead Rising over there. We're playing Steep over there. A ton of great games going on the Let's Play channel, so you can check that out either down in the description or on the end screen. But thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and until next time, peace out.
Maybe you should take it slow.